Okay, great. Okay, hey folks, as I said before, here is my information and Adam's as well. We will just sort of get right into it. The goal of today is to talk to you about the BBIP program. So we'll include details, benefits, eligibility, and requirements. And then we'll also do kind of a quick walkthrough of what you need to do for the actual application itself. And that includes important dates. PS, the application opens today at the very end of this presentation. As well as sort of if and when you are accepted, sort of what the timeline looks like for supplying us with important paperwork. So first and foremost, what is BBIP, the Beyond Barnard Internship Program? It is our absolute flagship and largest year-round funded program. It occurs in the fall, spring, and summer. Of course, you are here for information about fall 2024. So for now, keep that in mind, that any information that we share is just relevant to this semester. The goal of BBIP is to provide support, that's both funding and programmatic support, to students in all majors and departments. This is not a program specifically for the humanities or specifically for the social sciences. Any student with any major can apply to BBIP. So similarly, as you might expect, the funding and programmatic support that we offer supports students who are pursuing internships in a variety of career fields. When you pursue and hopefully get an internship, as you are thinking about applying to BBIP, something that's really important that we want you to keep in mind, both as you're planning your semester and speaking to your potential internship supervisor, is that the required number of hours for BBIP to be eligible and to complete everything accordingly is 60 hours. That's across the entire semester. So it sort of works out to about 6 hours per week. The goal there is to ensure that you are being a student first and participating in your extracurriculars, and that you are not working something akin to a part-time job at 20 or 25 hours a week for an internship. So in order to be eligible for BBIP, it needs to be an internship that meets a minimum of 60 hours per week, but is not anything that's grossly over that number of hours. One of the other main eligibility requirements here is for, excuse me, for BBIP is that the internship that you pursue is either completely unpaid or very low pay. And we'll sort of talk about momentarily here what low pay looks like. There are a variety of internships and opportunities in some fields which are able to pay their interns. So the goal here of BBIP is to level the playing field to the degree that we can to offer both monetary support and, as I said, programmatic support for internships where the organizations, often nonprofits, but other kinds of small companies, aren't able to pay their interns. So again, in order to qualify, it must be an unpaid, completely unpaid, or low pay. So we'll talk in a minute here about what low pay means. One of the benefits of BBIP is up to a $1,000 stipend for the fall semester. And you'll see there an important caveat, which is it's less or minus any compensation from the host organization. So this is where the concept of a low pay internship comes into play. Low pay might mean you're offered a $100 stipend every month for a couple months while you're at the internship. Or maybe you're provided an unlimited Metro card. That's a pretty common one. So whatever amount that equals is subtracted from that $1,000. So again, the idea is to give all students that are awarded BBIP that $1,000 access across the different kinds of compensations that might be less those compensations that are provided by the host organization or company. So keep in mind there, it is up to $1,000. In addition to that financial support, you're also getting access to a variety of different programming that's offered here at Beyond Barnard. That includes professional development workshops. Each semester we offer 3, so there are 3 on deck for the fall. something called a check-in and chat with either Adam or myself. There will be at least 3 this fall as well. Those are opportunities for you to come and talk through challenges you might be facing in an internship site, questions you might have about having conversations about taking on a little bit more initiative in your internship, or it could just be to update us on how wonderful things are going. And of course, you have access to advising at the Beyond Barnard office as well. So the goal too with BBIP is to really provide this community of fellow interns. There's a lot of different kinds of internship programs that are offered through Beyond Barnard and programs elsewhere on campus, which are really focused right on specific disciplines. So with BBIP, the really wonderful thing is that it is there is kind of interns that come to us from a variety of different fields. So that's the goal, is to provide some kind of community support for those that come from different areas. So first things first, let's talk about eligibility. So if you are a first-year student who's in their fall semester, you're not eligible this particular semester for BBIP. The point there is that you need to be a student first. You've been at college for a grand total of 4.5 days. You're just getting settled into your classes. Really the goal, something that we're trying to promote here at Beyond Barnard and the college as a whole, is for you to get adjusted to being in this new space. So a first year fall semester student is not eligible. You are, however, eligible starting in the spring. This isn't to say you can't pursue internships, certainly. It just means that you're not eligible for BBIP. So therefore, anyone who's a currently enrolled sophomore, junior, or senior is in fact eligible. If you're an international student, you're absolutely eligible and welcome to apply. You do need to go through ISS to apply for CPT, curricular practical training. If you have already secured or are in the process of talking to ISS, that's great. If you have questions about it or want to get connected to them, by all means, please email beyondbarnard@barnard.edu and we can make that happen for you. Because one of the goals of our internship program here at Beyond Barnard is to ensure that everyone before they graduate has had some kind of internship. If you are someone on this call that has had multiple BBIP awards before, you're likely to be given lower priority than a first-time applicant. Again, that's with the goal of trying to encourage access to this program across all kinds of students. It's not to say you're not eligible, it just means that budget dependent, your application will be likely given a little bit lower priority. From the pandemic and on forward, we're continuing to award to remote and in-person and hybrid internships. There's no priority assigned one way or the other. Any kind of internship is eligible in terms of in-person or not. I see a couple questions in the chat. I'll see if I can address them here momentarily. I think a major factor and something that often can sometimes discourage students from applying to BBIP, which I really want to make super clear, is that you do not need to have a secured internship at the time of application. You do need to confirm one within 8 days after your acceptance to BBIP if you are accepted. But the point here is that you're trying to offer yourself opportunities. So if you do not have an internship right now, that is absolutely okay. If between the time that you apply and the end of the application opening, which is September 30th is when it closes, if you get an internship during that time, you can absolutely update us and say, hey, I have a quick update on my application. But please do not shy away from applying just because you don't have an internship. This is your time now, this week, next week, the week after, to really start pursuing opportunities that you find. I got a couple of questions here in the chat that I think would be worth replying to. I would ask if you do have a question, please message to everybody so that way everyone can see, and it might be likely that someone else has a similar question. So someone has asked here that if you applied in another cycle, spring or summer, and were denied, is that something that's taken into consideration? If you applied in the summer in particular and weren't awarded BBIP, I will say our summer cycle is very competitive just because of the number of students that apply. We only have a certain amount of funding that we could award. Of course, we wish we could award so much more. There's just more students seeking funding in the summertime. And summer BBIP does come with a housing stipend as well. That is not true for the fall or the spring. You're already here and you're already in housing. So if you applied in the summer and weren't awarded, please do apply in the fall. I've got a question here about research. We will talk about research internships here in a minute. And is there, the next question, is there capacity to ask questions about the BBIP application or get help on the application? Absolutely. Beginning next week, our peer career advisors, if you're new to Barnard, the PCA's peer career advisors, are highly trained students. So they are peers of yours that advise on everything from resumes and cover letters, and absolutely advising on the BBIP application is a major part of what they do at the beginning of each semester. So check Handshake or come on into the BM Barnard office and set up a meeting with a PCA. That's a really great first step and a first way to talk to someone about your application. Secondarily, you're also, of course, welcome to schedule any kind of advising appointment through Handshake with one of the BM Barnard advisors to talk about your BBIP application as well. Okay, so we talked about eligibility. Here are a few things that would render a student ineligible, and unfortunately, a couple of these, right, are not you're not able to find a way around them. So the first question here, and this came into the chat, is research work at Columbia or Barnard. Even if it is unpaid, it is something that is given very low priority, in particular STEM or other kind of wet lab research. We understand that it's frustrating that you have an internship that might be unpaid, but there are a variety of other internship programs, particularly SRI, Summer Research Institute, over the summer, that is able to pay students who are pursuing STEM opportunities. Further, internships that are supported by BBIP are off campus. If you have an opportunity to do some kind of internship on campus and you're not getting paid, I would definitely suggest talking to your potential internship supervisor, see if you can find another on-campus paid position, talk to your academic department about potential funding, or again, schedule an appointment with a BM Barnard advisor to get a sense of how you might be able to find compensation for an on-campus position. Any kind of work or internship with a political campaign, religious center, or other organizations that proselytize in particular are ineligible, and this is just has to do with Barnard as a nonprofit. All the money that we use to support you all in these internships is philanthropically raised, and as a result, it can't support any kind of work that is involved with a political campaign or any kind of proselytization. That's a matter of legality. Lastly, any kind of project with a campus student organization, so you're seeing a common thread here that an on-campus opportunity will be rendered ineligible. So if you are part of any kind of student extracurricular organization or any kind of service trips or other kinds of opportunities that require you to pay to be a part of it, or any kind of individual fundraising are also ineligible. And unfortunately, there's no wiggle room there. On the whole, these opportunities that I've just talked about that are ineligible are not common for those that apply for BBIP. For the most part, people that come and are interested in this program have internships that are in fact eligible. So here we have, what are the requirements? Committing to 60 hours, right, as we've said, total for the semester. If there are a few more than 60 hours, that is okay, but 60 hours is the minimum. And you do need to ensure that the prospective internship, as I've said, is unpaid, low pay, or minimally compensated. This is something you'll be asked about in the application itself. And then if you're accepted, we are in touch with the supervisors, and we ask the supervisors to let us know as well what kind of compensation they might be providing you. If you are able to get paid by your internship, that's amazing. And we can help you, the advisors at Beyond Barnard can help you negotiate, figuring out how to up your pay or figure out a way to include pay that will likely, again, render you ineligible if it is a large amount, or certainly if it exceeds $1,000. We want to find a way to get you paid. So if you are accepted, you can see here are some of the requirements. It's basically some paperwork and then at least one programming event. And there's a variety of those for you to participate in. So signing the program agreement, which is the agreement that you will effectively abide by all of the rules that are set out here and in the policies document that you'll be sent. And to write a very short thank you letter to the donors that make this possible. It is a Google form. We provide you with prompts. It's pretty quick, pretty brief, but it's something that the donors really love to read about the different kinds of students that they're able to support. We get really great feedback from them. And of course, additional paperwork that I didn't include here, but is any forms that we need from you to ensure that you get paid. So that includes tax forms and that sort of thing. So separate from the paperwork, right? Attending at least one Beyond Barnard programming event is required. And there you have some examples. As I mentioned, the check-in and chat, which is with either Adam or myself. Professional development series workshops. Again, there will be 3 this fall semester. Some of the past topics have included how to ensure that you have sort of a positive wrapped up ending to your internship. How do you parlay your internship in something for the future? How to work together across generations with different kinds of folks, right, in the workplace. How to network, how to make the most out of the relationships that you do have in the workplace, that sort of thing. One of your programming events can be an advising appointment with a Beyond Barnard staff member. Another one that is increasingly becoming popular is participating in the Beyond Barnard social media. You'll be connected to our Associate Director of Communications, sharing photos and details about what your internship has entailed. If you check out the Beyond Barnard Instagram, I think the previous to the last post was a student who was in a state park in Alaska and did some really wonderful things over the summer. And other events hosted by Beyond Barnard will be communicated in the Beyond Barnard weekly newsletter or the BBIP weekly newsletter. There will be 2. Unless you have requested to be removed, everyone is signed up for the Beyond Barnard weekly newsletter. It goes out on Wednesdays. So something important to keep in mind here is that if requirements are not met, that will make you ineligible to receive funding in the subsequent program cycle. The requirements really are this paperwork and ensuring that you complete one of the programmatic elements. In addition to, of course, completing your internship and, establishing good and healthy relationships with your professional colleagues. So here are the important dates that I know everybody is interested to know. At the end of this info session, the application will be open. It is connected there to the QR code. It is there. There is a link. Fret not, this is also listed on Handshake. If you search BBIP Fall 2024, any combination of those, it will surface for you. And it is also on the BBIP Beyond Barnard website. There's a direct link there to the Google form. I do want to definitely underscore that the only way to apply is via this Google form. So submitting any kind of resume or cover letter to us via email does not make you eligible. On Handshake, there are explicit instructions to go to the Google form. Handshake, for those of you that have applied to jobs on Handshake before, you know that you can sort of upload a cover letter and resume. It's not the appropriate way to do it. You do need to be submitting through the Google form. And we'll talk in a minute about what is included in that Google form. So the application opens today and closes on Friday, September 30th. So that is a good chunk of time for you to look for internships, apply to them, get your feet wet, maybe get an offer. And certainly if you don't have an internship or have any ideas about where to start, setting up an appointment with a PCA is a really great place to start to figure out what makes sense for you this semester if you're interested. And certainly any advising appointments with the Beyond Barnard advising staff as well. You can search for advising appointments called job search strategies, I believe, or career exploration. You'll be notified if you are accepted the week of October 7th. and then you'll have those days to accept or decline. So it is during that, we of course encourage you to accept as soon as possible, but the deadline, it will be that October 17th date. If in that time you are still trying to figure out if you're still attempting, right, to solidify or confirm your internship and you're having a little bit of trouble, you can always reach out to us and we can help talk you through strategies to try to figure it out. If you are unable to confirm an internship, though, at that time, we're not able, of course, to provide you the funding and programmatic support if you don't have a current internship. For the most part, though, overwhelmingly, students do this really well. And then orientation will be that very next day.
Yeah.
Could we please mute ourselves? Thanks. And a PCA is a peer career advisor. They are trained students, so your peers, that there are 9 of them this semester that work at the Beyond Barnard office. They hold a variety of different kinds of hours, and they are there to serve as advisors, whether it comes to resume, cover letter, BBIP, internship search. They're really, really wonderful resource, and we encourage you to speak with them. In particular, if you have questions about BBIP, go to them first, and then after that, by all means, come seek advising help from the Beyond Barnard staff, and you can sign up with advisors via Handshake. The question is the application rolling. The PCAs can be contacted through Handshake as well. The application is rolling. No, decisions will be sent out, as I said there, the week of October 7th. So there's not necessarily any benefit to applying the very first day. As with any, though, kind of job application, as soon as you're feeling ready to go, please do submit it. There's no need to wait until the very last minute. But all applications will be reviewed and acceptances and declines will go out that week of October 7th. That's a good question. So in my opinion, what is BBIP looking for in the application? That's a great question, and we will get there in just a minute. Okay, so this is what the application looks like content-wise, right? Of course, it will be in the Google form, but here is what we're looking for in terms of the basics. The organization name. Again, if it is not confirmed or you're just applying to the internship or you're about to apply to the internship, go ahead and use that organization name. If it happens that you get accepted and the internship has shifted to a different organization, we will review it at that time. And as long as things look good and the internship qualifies for BBIP otherwise, that's okay. You can still be accepted. On the whole, though, between now and the end of September, most students are able to establish an internship, or at least get one on the books, apply for it, and get through at least part of, if not all, of the interview process. In the application, we'll ask you to indicate the approximate start and end dates. It could be possible that you start the internship before the end of September. That's absolutely okay. That's absolutely okay. It doesn't need to coincide exactly with the BBIP application. We know that applying to internships, right, varies across different kinds of disciplines and organizations. So your focus should be getting the internship and getting the BBIP application in. As we've said, you need to report any kind of compensation, monetary or otherwise, on the application. In addition to providing a variety of different kinds, all different kinds, right, of just basic information about yourself. So the next 4 things I'll talk about, this is what we're really looking for. First, we want to know about the organization's mission and the internship responsibilities. So it will be important in answering that first. It's only 75 words, no more than 75 words, right? So these are just meant to be brief explanations of essentially why it is important for you to pursue this internship. So we want to understand the organization's mission in your own words. So please do not copy and paste anything from the organization's website. We want to hear about what you think about the organization's mission. Why is it important to you? Why are you pursuing this internship there specifically? Secondarily, we want to know about your responsibilities. If you don't 100% know if, again, you haven't been accepted yet, Speak to a potential supervisor, read through the job description, give us a sense of what your responsibilities will be like. Again, it's no more than 75 words. It's not very many. This isn't meant to be a novel about the day-to-day specifics of what you'll do. But maybe you'll be, supporting a marketing team that is working in healthcare services or something in the city. Give us a sense of who you might be working with, what kind of tasks you might have, what the goals are for your internship, that sort of thing. And then the second two are the uploads that you will need to add to your actual application. So the first is a cover letter and the second is a resume. So for the cover letter, there are essentially two options here. If you've already submitted the cover letter to the internship at the time you apply for BBIP, you can go ahead and submit that as a part of your BBIP application. Easy peasy. If at the time you apply to BBIP, you are writing a cover letter or you are planning to write one for a particular internship position, go ahead and include that. The second option is that if the internship that you're applying for doesn't require a cover letter, or let's say you got the internship just through a conversation with someone, or let's say the particular internship application just included answering a few questions, we do still need a cover letter from you. So write one anyway, as if you are applying for the job, for the internship. This is a really great exercise in professionalism. For some of you, this might be the first sort of formal cover letter that you've ever written, and that's the goal. Major part of what Beyond Barnard does is to help support your sort of career and scholastic maturation through college and to get you ready, right, for the world afterwards. So the options are a cover letter that you either submitted or are planning to submit to the internship itself, or writing one as if you are applying for the internship. I'll pivot very quickly to the questions I see in the chat here. So it says, if the internship requires 15 hours a week for September to December, should we refrain? That's a really good question because that is kind of greatly in excess of the 60 hours. I would encourage you to apply if we are able to accommodate more students, right, than we anticipate, right, if funding is available, we could look at those kinds of internships where more hours are required. That is a really good question. This application is not meant to be super long. It does not require hours and hours of developing long essays, right? It's really an act in professional practice and giving us a really thorough but brief sense of what the internship will be like. So I would encourage you to apply. I think it's a good idea. But you're right, 15 hours is definitely an excess and might be given lower priority as a result. Okay, so we've covered the cover letter basics there. The resume, as is true for all kinds of resumes, right, should be clean, good quality content, consistent formatting. We definitely encourage you to make an appointment with a PCA, a peer career advisor, to have them review it for you. Reviewing resumes and cover letters are their absolute bread and butter. They are experts in this, as is the Beyond Barnard advising staff. There are myriad resources in Handshake if you go to the resources section, which is within career exploration, I believe. If you type in cover letter or resume, you can see so many different examples across different kinds of jobs and majors to give you a sense of the kinds of formatting that we suggest and how to include relevant content. Question, a sense of the average number of people who may be applying. Yeah, it's a good question. So in the summer, I'm not sure if you heard at the beginning, but in the summer, we have an overwhelmingly larger number of folks who apply. So it is more competitive just because of the amount of students. The goal with BBIP is to absolutely award as many students as we can. That is what we are doing. We're looking for a solid application. We're looking to see that you're excited about your internship, that it's a good fit for you. And if all your materials are good quality, that's a thumbs up from us, right? We really want to give you the green light. Historically, the fall and spring semester experience fewer total applications. The fall is a little bit more than the spring in my experience. So as a result of that and, a pretty consistent budget, we're typically able to award a higher percentage. Again, your application needs to be solid. We need to see that this internship makes sense for you and that you're excited about it as well. If your internship starts in November but fits in 60 hours, I think maybe I would suggest that in that case, maybe you talk to an advisor because 60 hours in less than 2 months seems like quite a bit. So that's my sort of circumvented answer there is maybe talk to one of us about committing to something that is that number of hours per week. Just a review here, right, of some of the programmatic support that you get in addition to up to the $1,000 stipend, right? You get weekly communication from BBIP Weekly, which will include events, announcements, opportunities, right? That comes directly from me. You have, forgive the typo, you have potential for Instagram stardom there. Working with our communications team here at Beyond Barnard, check-in chats, right? At least 3 opportunities to come speak to us in a group setting with other interns. Access to events and advising, and in a lot of cases, events that are specifically tailored to you. And lastly, of course, our professional development series workshops. Okay, I've answered a lot of questions along the way here, but I see one more in the chat. But please, by all means, you're welcome at this point to raise your hand and ask. So what's the cutoff amount for low pay? There isn't specifically one, but if you are really approaching that $1,000 mark, that will probably render you ineligible. But that particular question, I think, could be answered via email if you want to reach out to me or Adam or Beyond Barnard. What other questions can we help you with or answer?
There's one that came directly to me that I think could be good for the group. It's when is the deadline to apply for BBIP in the summer, and will there be another info session? Yes, we have summer in December here where we do kind of a series of info sessions that are geared towards all of our summer programming, included in which is the BBIP programming for the summer. In that application cycle, starts usually in March and kind of finishes up throughout the course of April and May to get you ready to start near the end of May, right around Memorial Day-ish.
Anything else? You have us here, ready to answer questions. This is your big moment. I hope the major takeaways here are please apply. Please come to us and the PCAs to help review your application materials. There's many opportunities to meet with anyone in the Beyond Barnard office. We definitely want to help you make your BBIP application strong. And don't hesitate to reach out to us as well if you are having some trouble figuring out what kind of internship you might want to pursue. We do advising for that. So you're absolutely welcome to come to us with those needs as well. All right, if that is it, I will thank you and hope to see you around the Beyond Barnard office, and have a good weekend, everyone.
Hang on, sorry, we have one question that just came in. STEM labs get low priority. Is it worth applying? Does BBIP take a good amount of STEM wet lab internships?
I think that depends on if you're willing to you're putting time into the application. I would say absolutely apply. Why not? If we have funding and we can swing it your way, that would be great. We'd be very happy to do that. Again, the goal of BBIP is to fund students. It's just that, as I said, there's more opportunities for STEM students to get funding. So that is why those particular opportunities are lower priority. It's not that we don't care or want to support you. It's just about providing funding opportunities for different kinds of students. Yep. Oh, and one last question here to me, does 10 hours a week qualify? Again, we're looking for, I mean, it depends. If 10 hours a week is something that is only across a fewer number of weeks and it's closer to that 60-hour mark, then yes. Right, so we're really looking for a total of minimum 60 hours, but nothing greatly in excess. But the way those hours get divvied up is according to you and your internship supervisor. So we're definitely not here to control or police in any way. The way that you and your internship supervisor determine your schedule, that's something that's completely up to you. Okay, thanks for you intrepid 8 folks who've stayed. I hope your questions have been answered, and please do get in touch with BM Barnard at barnard.edu if you have further questions, all right? Okay, bye everyone.